So here's something that no one in the room is talking about, but I'm gonna talk about it. The way that Rivals has handled Luna Snow and Lin Lie, in my opinion, is terrible. I think they should go in and rework both of them. Now, you're gonna look at me and ask me why. Luna's fine. Luna's great. Yeah, she's fine, but she's not great. And the reason I say that is because it's quite obvious that they want to make her the industry plan. They want to make her the face of the game. They want the community as a whole to latch on to Luna Snow. And I think the better way to do that than what they have been doing is to lean in further to the fact that she's a pop star. So y'all brought her music into the game. Y'all brought the dance floor to the game. But then the way she plays is just like everybody else. There's no rhythm at all to her gameplay. Like y'all can do something simple like using the hunting horn from Monster Hunter. Simple combos that'll trigger buffs and you know do different effects or whatever the case may be. Especially with her ultimate, you can bring the time back to where it was before. What was it, like 16 seconds or some shit? But for whatever that she's doing, she has to ramp it up stage by stage by stage. And it would be susceptible to things like blind, um, and Deadpool's visual clutter. And I think you can add a mode to the dance floor where people can practice, their little combos and stuff. And you can use that. You can track that as a metric to see, okay, well, you know what? It seems like a vast majority of the community is finding this to be very easy. Instead of going in and micro adjusting the numbers, change the difficulty of the combos. So now, okay, it's on the screen for 3 seconds instead of 5, or the combo um will be randomized between a set of like 4 different commands. And if you get blinded at the time before it goes off screen, you're shit out of luck. You're gonna have to guess, right? Or you make it longer or whatever the case may be, make it more complex. That would keep her to be a strong character, but raise her skill ceiling. And by default, I think most people will be able to get her, should be able to get her like somewhere near the middle, right? So she would be competent in most comps, most for for average players like myself. Um, she'd be comparable to the rest of the roster, maybe a little bit weaker, but at the highest level, she would be S tier. Period. Like you don't you'll set her numbers and leave it there and then adjust the difficulty of how you go about gaining all those bonuses. So you don't have to keep going in and micromanaging her numbers. That's just my opinion on that. The other thing would be with Lin Lie. Y'all made him Iron Fist. That's whatever, but I think you should give him back his identity as a swordsmaster, and lean into the Chinese martial arts cultivation route, where he will be able to use his summon his swords or sword, whichever one. I'm not highly familiar with the character myself, to be honest, but there are various Donghua that have these fantastic displays of swordsmanship and how the unique ways of how they use their formless swords and things like that. And I think you should have leaned into that instead of making him the Iron Fist. That would have made him a much stronger character, a much more interesting character, gave him a again another unique playstyle, um, and would directly, in my opinion, put him in a higher position to get more spotlight in the comics, because that playstyle would be dope and people would want to see that in the comics. They would want to see that in the movies. They'd want to see that in the animated show. But y'all made him Iron Fist. And the Iron Fist show suck balls for the most part. So I don't know what to tell you, right? But in my opinion, both of those characters should be reworked to make them much more unique and lean into their particular aesthetics. That's just my opinion. Take it easy. Be good to yourself. Peace.